Good morning to all. So today we are going to discuss about the meteorological measurement. So the course outcome of this is, on the successful completion of this course, the student will able to understand the course outcome one, like build the knowledge of various component of hydrological cycle that affect the movement of water in the earth. The program outcome is correlated CO1 is 1 and 7 with the program specific outcome 1. Introduction. Meteorological observations are made for a variety of reasons. They are used for the real-time preparation of weather chart and maps, for weather forecast and serve weather warnings, for the study of climate and for local weather dependent operations. So meteorological use a wide variety of instruments to measure weather conditions. These data are required for analysis in hydrology and agricultural meteorology and for research in meteorology and climatology. The synaptic observations. Synaptic observations should be representative of an area of 200 km around the station. For small scale or local applications, the considered area should have the dimension of 10 km or less. Meteorological applications have their own preferred timescales and space scales for averaging station density and resolution of phenomena. It may be small for agricultural meteorology and large for global long range forecasting. The scale ranges of measurements are as followed: microscale, like less than 100 meter for agricultural meteorology, for example evaporation. Toposcale or local scale under to 3 km, for example air pollution tornadoes. Mesoscale 3 to 100 km, for example thunderstorms, sea and mountain freezers. Large scale under to 3000 km, for example front various cyclones, cloud clusters. Planetary scale larger than 3000 km, for example long upper tropospheric waves. General requirement of a meteorological stations. The requirement for weather elements to be observed according to the type of station and observing network are as follow: present weather, past weather, wind direction and speed, cloud amount, cloud type, cloud base height, visibility, temperature, relative humidity, atmospheric pressure, precipitation, snow cover, sunshine, and or maybe the solar radiations, soil temperature. Then final one is the evaporation. So instruments are available to measure all of these elements except the cloud type. Some meteorological stations are take upper air measurement of soil moisture, ozone and atmospheric composition. Automatic weather stations. Most of the elements are required for synaptic, climatological or aeronautical purposes can be measured by automatic instrumentation. Meteorological observation stations are designed so that the representative measurement or observations can be taken according to the type of the station involved. The ground should be covered with short grass or a surface representative of the locality and surrounded by open fencing to exclude entry of unauthorized persons. Within the enclosure, a bare patch of ground of about 2 meter into 2 meter is reserved for observations of the state of the ground and of soil temperature at depth of equal to or less than 20 centimeter. The measurement of temperature. For meteorological purposes, temperatures are measured by a number of media. The most common variable measured is the atmospheric temperature at various heights. Other variables to be measured are the temperature of the ground, soil, grass, minimum and sea waters. So the thermodynamic temperature T, which unit of Kelvin, also defined as Kelvin's temperature, is the basic temperature variable. The temperature T is degree Celsius or Celsius temperature is used for most meteorological purposes. Meteorological requirement for temperature measurement primarily related to the following one. So the air near the earth's surface, the surface of the ground, the soil at various depth, the surface levels of the sea and lakes and upper air. These measurements are required either jointly or independently and locally or globally for input to numerical weather prediction models for hydrological and agricultural purposes and as indicator of climatic variability. Local temperature also has a direct psychological significance for the day-to-day activities of the world populations. Measurement of temperature may be recorded as continuous record or may be sampled at different time intervals. For climate studies, in particular, the temperature measurement are affected by the state of the surroundings, by vegetations, by the presence of buildings and other objects, by ground cover, by the condition of and changes in the design of the radiation shield or screen, and maybe by other changes in equipment. So it is important that the record should be kept not only of the temperature data but also of the circumstance in which the measurement are taken. Such information is known as metadata, like data about the data. The major requirement used are thermometer, liquid in glass thermometers, ordinary thermometers, mercury in glass type thermometer, meteorological thermometer, and radiometric thermometer. Soil thermometer for measuring the soil temperature at depth of 20 centimeter or less. Mercury in glass thermometers are used. It is measured with their stem bent at right angles or any other suitable angle below the lowest graduation. The thermometer bulb is sunk into the ground to the required depth and the scale is a read the thermometer in shoot. Measuring grass minimum temperatures. The grass minimum temperature is the lowest temperature reached overnight by a thermometer freely exposed to the sky just above short grass. The temperature is measured with a minimum thermometer. Electrical resistant thermometer. Resistant thermometers, also called as resistant temperature detectors, are sensors used to measure temperature. Many RTD elements consist of a length of fine wire wrapped around a ceramic or the glass core. So the RTD wire is a pure material, typically platinum, nickel or copper. So see the resistant element from RT, it will be crossed R1 and R2 resistant. So from here the bridge output will be occur. So from here power supply also supplied. Thermometer exposure and setting. Radiation from the sun, clouds, the ground and other surrounding objects passes through the air without appreciably changing its temperature, but a thermometer exposed freely in the open air can absorb considerably radiation and display the values. Measurement of atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure on a given surface is the force per unit area exerted by virtue of the weight of the atmospheric above. The pressure is thus equal to the weight of a vertical column of air above a horizontal projection of the surface extending to the outer limit of the temperature atmosphere. The basic unit for atmospheric pressure, atmosphere meter, is the Pascal, like a Newton per square meter. Some barometers are graduated in millimeters or inches of mercury under standard conditions. Analyzed pressure field are a fundamental requirement of the science of meteorology. For meteorological purposes, atmospheric pressure is generally measured with electronic barometers, mercury barometers, aneroid barometers, or hypsometers. The mercury barometers are maybe the electronics barometers. A barometer is the instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure. Pressure tendency can forecast short-term changes in the weather condition. Aneroid displacement transducers. The aneroid displacement transducers contains a sensor which electrical properties like resistance or capacitance that changes as the atmospheric pressure changes. Digital piezo-resistance barometer. Today, mostly preferred pressure sensor is the pseudo-resistant sensor. So, it is cheap and still delivers a good result, but it has drawn back significant power requirements, low output signal, large offset, and temperature deficiency. So, many sensors are therefore internally compensated for temperature effect. The cylindrical resonator barometer. A cylindrical resonator barometer or vibrating cylinder air pressure condenser is designed to measure absolute air pressure using the vibrating element principle, providing a frequency output from which pressure is computed. Android barometers. Android barometers have lower accuracy than mercury barometer. These are compacted and portable equipment. Android barometers are easier to handle and use and are suitable for self-recording. Burden tube barometers. Burden tube are known for its very high range of differential pressure measurement in the range of almost 1 lakh psi, like 700 megapascal. It is an electric type pressure condenser. Burden tube barometers usually consist of a sensor element. Automatic digital barometers. Automatic digital barometers make use of a combination of sensor and microprocessor techniques. In fact, these instruments are composed of sensors, condensers, a microprocessor, and digital electronics. Electrical signal generated by the pressure sensor are interpreted by the microprocessor using a more or less sophisticated algorithm. The outcome of most of the sensors, however, is temperature dependent. So, inside most of the devices, the temperature of the pressure sensor is determined by a temperature sensor. Measurement of humidity, the measurement of atmospheric humidity, and often its continuous recording is an important requirement in most areas of meteorological activities. The most frequently used quantities in humidity measurement are as follows: mixing ratio. It is the ratio between the mass of water vapor and the mass of dry air. Specific humidity, the ratio between the mass of water vapor and the mass of moist air. Dew point temperature, the temperature at which moist air saturated with respect to water at a given pressure has a saturation mixing ratio equal to the given mixing ratio. Relative humidity, the ratio in percent of the observed vapor pressure to the saturation vapor pressure with respect to water at the same temperature and pressure. So vapor pressure, the partial pressure of water vapor in air. Saturation vapor pressure. Vapor pressures in air is equilibrium with the surface of water and ice respectively. Humidity measurement. Humidity measurement at the edge surface are required for meteorological analysis and forecasting for climate studies and for many special applications in hydrology, agricultural, aeronautical services, and environmental studies in general. They are particularly important because of their relevance to the changes of state of water in the atmospheric. Hydrometer, an instrument used for measuring the atmospheric humidity, is known as hydrometer. A hydrometer is an instrument used for measuring the moisture content in the atmosphere. So humidity measurement instrument usually rely on measurement of some other quantity such as temperature, pressure, mass, or a mechanical or electrical change in a substance as moisture as is observed. Gravimetric hydrometer metry. This method uses the observation of water vapor by a desiccant from a known volume of air. The gravimetric hydrometer is used for this purpose. The psychometric method, the measurement of atmospheric humidity, is an important requirement in most of the areas of meteorological studies. Psychrometer is defined as the measurement of the moisture content of air. Nowadays, many humidity measuring devices are available. So the Sorption method, certain material interact with the water vapor and undergo a change in a chemical or physical property that is sufficiently reversible for use as a sensor of ambient humidity. Observation of electromagnetic radiation by water vapor, ultraviolet and infrared observation hydrometer. is used for this measurement purpose. These are the reference material. Thank you.